I'm Chuck Bazzaio.
I'm Jen Bazzaio.
And welcome to Spiritual and Paranormal Experiences 2014 Psychic Couple Predictions by the Psychic Couple, Chuck and Jen Bazzaio. Our website is www.
What part is this? What part is it? You gotta continue on.
This is our installment number 6. I do believe this is going to be our final installment for our 2014 psychic predictions.
Just so people that are following us know what sequence they're in, so they know where we ended up and where we start off again.
Our website is
www.cbezio.com
and www.psychiccouple.com. All one word for Psychic Couple. That's psychiccouple.com and cbezio.com or cbezio.com. So without further ado, part 6 of the 2014 Psychic Predictions by the Psychic Couple. I'm going to go a little bit off script here and say that 2013 brought a lot of problems with trains. 2014 is going to continue with problems with trains. The reason why we're having problems with trains is because the infrastructure is beginning to break down dramatically.
Well, that's what you get. I mean, just like the United States. When you don't put nothing back into it, you ain't going to be able to get nothing out of it.
What are we talking about again? Oh, I won't go there.
Well, just like our last episode, we were talking about unemployment, we were talking about different things breaking down, we were talking about bills and debt, we were talking about shipping everything overseas, and as you know, it just goes to show you, it proven time and time and time again, if you don't invest or take care of what you got, you lose it all, it falls apart, it all goes to crap.
A massive fire in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. It will be caused by electrical problems in a hotel. I'm seeing about 105 people that will die and over 500 injuries. That's not a good thing there. A worker is also struck with his crane at the site of the blaze, and he's dead, but he's not found until after the aftermath. They're going to be so busy with the
cleanup and containment
and fire, yeah. There's going to be a clash in China in which police are going to kill 20 Chinese citizens, and this is due to political unrest by their economic crisis. The western part of China is going to start the economic crisis, and this is going to start in March. And even China will not be exempt from terrorist attacks. China will begin using the word terrorist attacks when one of their attacks. Up to this point, China has really been exempt or really been covering it up and has not been using this terrorist attack for, but it's become politically correct now, and you gain a lot of
well, that's
support
just it. It's
internationally.
become political. Doesn't matter if the government is causing it, they all chalk it up to terrorist attack.
Yes, these terrorists are political activists that are not happy with the way things are happening in China.
Is anybody happy with the way anything's happening in anywhere?
Well, politics and large government and the control of people is
I'm sorry, I'm usually optimistic. I hate being so cynical. But, you know, the more stupidity does, the more it's difficult to start overlooking this stuff.
Due to the deadly unrest and the frequent breakouts of activists, a region that contains large resources rich, that is a predominantly Muslim ethnic group, is going to be the cause of the unrest. And once again, it's going to start out because of their economic problems, and then it's going to escalate into a government thing because the government killed these people, then the people are going to, so it's just going to escalate out of control. Okay, weather, northeast storms. I see a tropical storm in September or October, and massive flooding in April or May. A whopper storm is forming, so massive it captures quite a punch in the northeast. I see a mid-October blizzard with several power outages, severe coastal flooding, and collapsing buildings because of the intense snow. The blizzard is going to have high winds and cause power outages for a minimum of 2 weeks in many regions. A tornado record outbreak in May and June with 150 people plus dead, 16,000 people injured, and billions of dollars in property damage. So there's going to be a massive outbreak in the northern parts of Florida in May and June for tornadoes. Egyptian car bomb in February by the Muslim Brotherhood. This car bomb is going to actually kill 1 policeman and 35 people will be injured. And this is going to cause a massive crackdown in Egypt on the Muslims. A volcano erupts in July in the Italy-Greece area. A volcano erupts in July with building collapses, 30 people dead, 100 people injured, and over 200,000 people affected.
So the shock wave is going to be the big thing.
And another volcano eruption in December for Greece with 65 people dead, 500 injured, and 15,000 affected. So although the one in Greece is going to be more injured and more deadly, it's going to be in a smaller region of people.
So there's going to be 2 separate volcanoes?
Yeah, one in Italy and one in Greece. A massive storm near in Australia in August. This is a typhoon that will affect Sydney and Melbourne. Global attacks unfold. In October will be China. In February will be Egypt. In January will be South Korea. And Russia will see their attacks in February during the Winter Olympics and again in December. Once again, a high school shooting in Colorado, a 17-year-old is captured, and this is going to start major discussions regarding mental illness and gun control. A sniper will shoot the innocent. This happens due to the teen shooting in Colorado. They are going to believe that the person that is exiting a building that is carrying a cell phone in his hand was the person doing the shooting. A sniper is going to shoot and kill an innocent person. This with that is going to bring up a lot of discussion on what has actually been happening and a lot of prevention programs in school safety is going to help. Because of these tragedies, we need to end them. So we need to have really good prevention programs in school safety and they are going to double down on this in 2014. Where am I here? An earthquake at the end of September in India. By December, the French and the United Nations presence in Central African Republic greatly amounts to much larger one. A more practical approach ends up working. In June, there is going to be an attempt of a car bomb in England. There is a possibility that by the end of 2014, not a possibility, but by the end of 2014, a real big discussion on Puerto Rico becoming the 51st state in the United States. It'll be the first.
That's something positive and interesting.
Yeah. It'll be the first state added in over 60 years to the United States. Oh, I forgot to mention the volcano eruption is going to be in the center of Italy.
You did say one in Italy and one in Greece.
Yeah. There is going to be a storm that completely destroys the surrounding area. There's going to be massive rubble. It's going to be an apartment complex, 80 dead and 120 injured.
Where?
Huh? Italy. Sorry. There's going to be tornadoes in Kansas, Missouri in March, and Alabama in June that are going to destroy a lot of property. There's going to be a hurricane that hits Florida in the Daytona Beach area.
It actually comes around?
Yes. And it will be at the end of September, beginning of October area. This big storm will go up the East Coast into the Northeast.
Will it get to Connecticut?
Huh?
Will it get to Connecticut?
Yes. The aftershocks of the earthquake in Italy. There's going to be a lot of aftershocks, a lot of power outages, a lot of fires. Same thing in Greece. I should add that a mammoth hurricane will arrive after the hurricane season, and in December.
Where?
Over the Gulf of Mexico, and will hit in the Atlanta, Georgia area.
So it'll be in December.
This massive storm. This is another one. There's one.
Another superstorm?
Another superstorm. There's going to be. Oh, so let me get this. So we get this straightened out here. The end of September, beginning of October, a massive storm hits the southern tip of Florida and Daytona Beach. That's a hurricane. Okay? Another hurricane is going to come up the East Coast in the middle of October, create into another superstorm like it's going to be a Sandy-like storm and hit New England. That is in the middle of October. After the end of the hurricane season, another hurricane will develop in the Gulf of Mexico, and it's going to hit the Atlanta, Georgia.
That's the one that you got to watch out for. That one is going to be pretty powerful, and it's going to be uncharacteristic because it's going to be a combination of a winter blizzard storm and a supercell storm. So you got the hot air, you got the cold air, you got the moisture coming in off the water, and you've got a cycle to it. So that one's going to be one to really batten down the hatches for. It's going to be a very long duration storm.
Proof that Mars once looked like the United States, or not yet, sorry, looked like the Earth, that it really was a grayish blue, oddish color when it was when it had rivers and lakes and life on Mars. Proof of this is going to come out in 2014. Not of life. NASA won't go that far and say it's got life, but they will say the evidence has proved that the atmosphere with the liquid water had the planet not
They
been-
already have come out with the proof of water on Mars. There's definite proof of groundwater still.
Yeah. There's icy riverbeds, ancient remains
There
of,
are polar caps
yeah,
too.
of riverbeds on Mars. They're going to find this information out in the red copper looking ground type area in an ancient riverbed. Some evidence that's going to come out. I do want to point out that this century is an amazing time for exploration and discovery. NASA's ancient Martian lakes that contained fresh water, and that eventually within 2015 and 2016 they are going to estimate about tens of millions of years ago tiny organisms actually lived on Mars, and they believed that it existed far longer than they had ever imagined, and life was predominant around the equator about 3.5 billion years ago. So they're going to come out and say that eventually that there's life on Mars, or there was life on Mars, but it was so long ago. It was at the beginning of the
So
star.
there's only a fossil record of what once was.
That's what they'll come and say that it is. Well, that
Well,
was...
you know, they still have a lot of hopes and a lot of dreams about Mars, and you know how hot and how cold the surface gets, and the extreme temperatures, and the lack of moisture or atmosphere on the surface. They still have a lot of hopes and dreams for what's below the surface.
Yeah.
The stuff that's not exposed to such harsh elements. We do know that on our planet, we have a lot of bacteria and protozoa and viruses that can adapt really well, very quickly, to the most extreme environments, including no sun, no oxygen, you know, very little or no water, very little or no soils or plant vegetation to see of. We actually have microbes that live off of rock. They consume that and they transform it into their byproducts, but they don't need plant material.
Yeah, I totally agree with all of that what you're saying. Also, the Mars is teeming with life. They just need to really look in the right place where life would exist. And I think scientists on our planet, looking in some of the more extreme environments on our own planet, are on the right path to finding out the right locations where they should be looking
There's
for
no
life.
doubt in my mind that they're definitely going to find life. They're going to find evidence of life. They're definitely going to find something. Now my question is was Mars ever able to support a larger animal ecosystem? Or was it always just, you know, amoebas and one-celled critters? Could it have actually had some kind of humanoid or mammal or reptilian living on the planet?
I don't see any reason why, if it had all the ingredients for life, why it would stay single-celled organisms. Our planet didn't do that.
Well, you never know how or why things develop and who had their hand in the cookie jar at the time.
Honestly, when it comes to Mars or the moon or even the Earth, I believe that civilization has occurred and then died out, and then reoccurred and died out, and occurred and died out. And that's not just a phenomenon that has happened on the planet. It is my opinion
People
that
don't realize and understand that for life to occur like it has on our planet, we are a very sensitive, fragile creatures. Extremely fragile. And there only can be optimal conditions for our life to survive.
I think that ancient societies on Mars, the moon, on Earth, and on Jupiter, Venus. Venus is a very hostile planet today, but at one point in our very long history of our solar system, Jupiter, and they have proven this. Jupiter again. It's not Jupiter.
Venus.
It's Venus. Was a very. It really was the sister planet of the Earth. The difference between Venus and Earth is we have tectonic plates. If I could say
the
this.
only reason we have tectonic plates is because we have a liquid core.
And they
we
don't.
have a solid core, but then we have a liquid layer. The tectonic plates is only the cooler crust that's cracked that circulates around the liquid.
The moon was used as a space station or an away station between the inhabitants of Mars and the inhabitants of Venus. They migrated to our planet and integrated into our planet, and I think this happened not thousands of years ago, not hundreds of thousands of years ago, but millions of years ago. And this is where you get into the ancient existence of like materials that are found embedded into solid rock in the bedrock. They were here such a long time ago, and we are now them. Their planets have became inhospitable, and we are now the Mars, Venus,
Well,
Earth
you have to realize
combination.
too, that the chronology is all wrong. People cannot fathom, cannot understand the aspect of how long our solar system and planets have actually been here. When life occurred, when it changed, how it mutated. I truly believe that life on this planet started a really, really long time before they actually say it started.
Yeah.
The official claim, anyway.
Scientists have it wrong. Now, they go back a long time, but it's not accurate. The Bible has it, or religion has it wrong. They don't go back far enough. They say everything
Bible
started
is
about
new.
5,000 years ago.
New compared to this history.
You need to think in millions and billions of years. Our planet has been in existence, and they know this for a fact, for 4 billion years. They know.
And just like it happens now, we still see it now with the cycles. The hot, the cold, the die-offs, the renewals. It's been in this cycle for billions of years.
It's almost as if when the planets, and this is really true, when the planets were being created, okay? Think of the 3 bears, okay? Mama bear, Papa bear, and baby bear. Well, think of those as Venus, Earth, and Mars, okay? And Venus was too hot, and Mars was too cold, and Earth was just right. We are in what they call the Goldilocks zone. You see why I used the 3 bears scenario? I thought that was kind of clever.
It's been done before.
Not like that. Too hot, too cold, just right.
There's too much out there in our own solar system that we do not understand or that we have not explored yet to even begin to make an educated guess on who, what, when, where, and why.
Okay, 2014, 2015, economic trouble in China, unemployment in the United States is going to fall to somewhere in the range between 5 and 7% in 2014, and a massive recession for both China and Russia, Russia too, but the world is looming because of the economic issues that we have. I can't say this enough. 2014 is going to be the year for emphasizing infrastructure, because solar flares are going to disrupt our technologies. They're going to realize exactly how vulnerable they really are and how far they really have broken down. We have not invested nowhere enough for our society that has become so dependent on these infrastructures to exist on a regular basis.
Not only that, but we've become so dependent on wireless and satellite. Wireless and satellite are very easily taken out.
Exactly. Exactly. It is very simple for these things
To be disrupted or turned off or turned on or...
this is a miracle prediction. Around May, something is going to happen in the city of Rome in which it is going to involve the sun. And it's going to bring a lot of popularity to religion, and it's going to have the world powers and governments questioning their belief systems, because masses of people are going to flock to
that's just
religion.
Or you need to bear witness, and as long as you bear witness, you have the proof. If you don't have the proof, then that's where people are now. It's been so long that people have been disbelieving and become so skeptical that they're really wavering on true faith. This will confirm faith.
I have a strong feeling this next prediction is talking about one city in the United States, but I'm also getting an indication that it could be a city in India. A major city that has been battling the rising ocean waters is going to be lost to the ocean. And it's going to be one city. But for some reason, I'm also thinking that they're talking that this hurricane that's going to come up through December is really going to destroy Louisiana. Now, it's going to hit Louisiana hard. I said the hardest in Atlanta, Georgia, but it's going to hit the city of New Orleans. And if a decision is going to be made that no amount of technology is going to be able to save the city that is actually 11 feet below sea level. So, but also, there's a city in India with the rising Indian Ocean that is in major jeopardy, and there's a possibility that that city is going to be the city that goes in 2014. So I'm really torn between which city it's going to be, either the city in India or New Orleans. New Orleans is
New Orleans been getting hammered
is
and
doomed.
hasn't been able to get recover.
Unless you want to start driving around in canoes and be a city under the water.
Like Vienna?
Yeah, but it's not going to be. It's a very poor city with a lot of poor residents, and the ocean just keeps claiming territory, and there's no amount of human intervention that is going to prevent this. We may have the technology, but it's pretty much like putting a Band-Aid on brain hemorrhage. It ain't going to work.
Well, there's no doubt about that our coastline is definitely, it's going through an ongoing dramatic change.
In 2014, I see that there is, United States will have a new enemy from a new country. And in the long run, I mean, and I'm not talking about 2014, yes, the U.S. is going to be involved in another foreign conflict with this country, but it's not going to happen in 2014. You want to know who I think it's going to be?
Who?
Venezuela in South America. As the year of the horse began, the land was before us. The people were rich in gold and silver, but their souls were poorer than ever. This is a spiritual awakening that needs to occur as we realize these global changes and what's happening in the world. People will become more spiritual, and this will have something to do with the Rome thing.
With the Rome thing?
Mm-hmm. The city of Rome and the miracle that's going to occur with the sun in June. I think what we've been seeing with the stock market, with the manipulation, is going to come to public notice. The public will become more aware of it. And when that happens, gold will depreciate.
But not for very long. Gold has gold is forever. Gold cannot be changed or destroyed. It can only be manipulated. And gold will always have a higher face value than any other metal.
The credit rating for the U.S. government is going to be downgraded once again before November. And this is going to send shockwaves across our economy. And there is a Great Depression looming. And this is all going to be triggered by our debt ceiling crisis that's going to start in February. And this is going to affect the global economy. It really is. And it's going to be blamed on a dysfunctional United States government. This time, the stock market problems will be widespread and long-lasting. There is no government entitlements or fixes that are going to get us out of this problem. It is a self-correcting thing that needs to happen.
Yeah, well, once you hit bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. Unfortunately, there is going to be a lot of loss.
Yes. And there's going to be slight improvement in the European economy and great improvement in the Indian economy through December 2014. The U.S. Unemployment rate is going to continue to dominate the discussion, but it's going to continue to decrease. And economic storm clouds are coming worldwide. Severe and dangerous catastrophic decisions will have to be taken. The United States economy will add more and more jobs this year. The average jobs billed will move up to about 160 to 170 per month. Australia will shine as an all-star economy on the world stage, performing even better overall than China and India. I don't see until 2015 because India is going to do good in 2014. Real estate property businesses will be strong around the globe throughout the first half of the year, and then when the ripple effects of the global economy, it's going to take another dive. There is going to, like I just said, a little bit of a calm before the storm. The stock market will stabilize from its rocky road that it has been having as of late, but that is not long term. The stock market will drop very fast, and once again the auto industry will begin going broke and ask for another bailout. This time the government is going to say, sorry, there's just no money. In hindsight, 2004 will be the year where...
2014?
Sorry, I did it again, huh? It's a good thing you're paying attention here. The economic depression will begin, and this is what they will say in hindsight, in November. Come November, they're not going to be saying that. But in hindsight, historians will say that it was of no return after November. Don't be fooled by the U.S. economy looking like it's coming back. This is only the calm before the storm. Everything is going to drop. The U.S. economy is broken. A big crisis in our economy is kicking off very soon and will worsen over the next few months, especially in the second half of 2014. There will be a drop of economic crises, or a deep economic crisis. The effects of it will be temporarily alleviated by short-term fixes in the first half of the year, but long-term fixes are not there and won't be there. Big corporations that deal with telecommunications, specifically in Northern Europe, will end up weakening or near bankruptcy at the end of the year and begin to look for stimulus from the European Union for assistance. In the time that is soon, a great wave of bad news from the tallest of towers of the greatest of the cities came forth. No one will escape it. Let me see if there's any more predictions on this.
Sound like checking your notes out.
I know. Checking my notes to make sure I'm covering all of the topics. You are listening to or watching Spiritual and Paranormal Experiences 2014's Psychic Predictions with the psychic couple Chuck and Jen Pizzaio, and this is part 6, and we are nearing the end. After the election of 2014, the midterm elections, Congress will once again be deadlocked. There will be controversy for the midterm elections that President Barack Obama actually shook the hands of dictator Raul Castro from Canada. This causes controversy and is used in an attempt to get people to be re-elected in this midterm election. The budget deal will break down after the debt crisis in February. This again will hurt the Republicans. The 2-year budget agreement, it will only last until about February 2014. It was only a slight respite over the holidays. The Tea Party is going to take a huge backlash of what they've been doing, and especially with, the downsizing of social programs like reduction in Medicare, and discussion of upping the age for Social Security benefits, and There will be discussions about reducing benefits for Social Security recipients. The unemployment issue, unemployment benefits we already talked about. We talked about the food stamp reduction that is coming. And the Tea Party and the Republicans are going to be blamed for this. There's also the Republicans and the Tea Party are going to split. It is a major split between the two because the Republicans are realizing now, and they will realize, that the Tea Party is extremely detrimental to their national...
Their long-term goals.
Yeah, their long-term national goals. Even though they do have some common beliefs and stuff, they really are an independent party.
Yeah, as well they should be. I mean, they have caused a lot of problems. They have stalled out a lot of issues that need to be corrected, and with them dispersing and being out of the way, so to speak, things will start to slow. Things will start to move a little bit more freely.
And the split is going to come around June. And this is the late filing deadlines give Republicans a chance to find better candidates in place and where they are lacking. The Republican popularity is slipping dramatically. They're going to be refocused on their core conservative values. A governor of Kansas will become the golden child of the party in 2016 as the Republican presidential candidate. And yeah, no, that is not the Republican from New Jersey. No. That everybody is saying that Chris Christie is going to be facing off against Hillary Clinton. He may be the front runner now, or Mark Rubio may be the front runner now in the Republican parties, but they're not long lasting front runners. Obama's signature achievement, the Affordable Health Care Act, has been a huge mess. We all know that. It remains persistently unpopular in pollings. Obama's approval rating has been steadily declined for months, and in recent events have driven it even more so.
Well, that's just it. He's got nothing left to lose. He cannot be reelected again. He is putting in his last big ditch effort for what he can affect and control, and this is going to be his legacy, and it will work.
Delays in the Obamacare will continue throughout 2004. Problems with the website, the continuation of the availability of affordable insurance. People will find that it's very costly, and they get very little coverage for the amount of money that they are being asked to pay for.
But it's still better than nothing at all.
But there's a silver lining here. This is going to open the door to offer a more popular reform. This will bring Obamacare more into a universal health care system. And Hillary will run on this in 2016. What is going to happen is they're going to basically blame all of the nightmares that they've been having on, well, this was the Republican plan. This is what George W. Bush wanted for healthcare reforms, and we pushed to implement it, and now we want to not rewrite the programs, but make them better through reforms of the Affordable Health Care Act. And it will bring the country into more of a universal health care for everybody. It's basically a government health care program that ensures everybody, regardless of your ability to afford it or not. With the government shutdown, debt ceiling crisis behind us, a disaster is looming for the Republican Party. A nightmare they just cannot move past. It will halt them in their war to win the 2016 election. The Republicans damaged that they did to themselves during the recent battle over the government shutdown and debt crisis is just going to be like a black cloud over their head. There's going to be significant improvements in the national political climate in the Democrats. Obama's rating is slipping. The popularity of the Democrats are slipping. There is going to be a mass exodus of Democrats away from Barack Obama.
I really don't see that happening. I would have to, speak up and give a different point of view. He's been very, very good. And
I'm not saying he hasn't. I'm just saying that because of his popularity and the way the tides are turning, there's going to be mass exodus of the Democrats, and they're going to be coming up with a couple of different things, and they're going to basically put Obama's head on the chopping block. And
it might be put on the chopping block for a little while, but he's definitely going to recover. There's going to be a lot of turnaround in the medical field. Not so much with the Obamacare, but why does the Obamacare not work now? Because there is no cap. There is no control on the medical field and how much people could charge for care, and that's why there's so many problems with the insurance and with the uninsured. If you can put a medical cap on what somebody can charge for something, or if you can revamp our medical system to making the medical practice affordable for everyone, then your Affordable Health Care Act would work.
You should note that there will not be no congressman that will be running for president. That means no senators and no representatives. They're going to be
no, everybody's going to be running scared. Nobody's going to want to inherit anything
because
like
of
that.
the low popularity right now of Congress. Nobody's going to be taken, like if Hillary Clinton right now, she can say that she's an outsider. She's not part of the government and hasn't been now for a couple of years. And she also has a ticket in saying, well, when I was part of the government, when I was a senator, things were good. When I was in the Obama administration, things were good. I got out of it and all hell broke loose. Maybe it's time for me to come back and kind of fix the problems that, what's happening in government right now. New major findings regarding the assassination of John F. Kennedy. 2 new theories will be out in 2014.
Well, that also has a lot to do with the Freedom of Information Act and information being released.
Good news for the Democrats in West Virginia. They are going to, West Virginia is going to become a solid blue state. Bad news for the Democrats in Colorado. They're going to lose Colorado as a Democratic state because a lot of people in Colorado just are not happy with the gun reforms, even though a lot of the problems, Columbine, the movie theater shooting just recently, there was just another shooting in Colorado, even though they have had a lot of mass shootings, and they did some very strict gun control measures there in Colorado. This is going to really hurt because primarily the population does not want the gun controls in Colorado.
And rightfully so. Being in a democracy, being in the United States, you have the right to bear arms. It's one of the First Amendments. The problem isn't with the guns. The problem is with the people that have access to them and are using them. Now, no matter how much you try, guns are still going to be available for those people that should not have them. So why take away the guns from the people that should have them because then they are going to be less and less and less apt to be able to protect themselves.
I'm a constitutionalist, and the Second Amendment of the Constitution says you have the right to bear arms. And as far as I'm concerned, if the government has the right to impose restrictions on any of the amendments of the Constitution, that just picking one, like gun control. If they can pick apart that one amendment, then they can pick apart any of the amendments and strip us of our civil liberties.
Well, it's not even so much any of the amendments, it's any of our rights to be United States citizens. Alright, you got a terrible tragedy with somebody that, got a hold of a gun and shot, umpteen people and everybody died and it was a really big tragedy. But at the same time, you don't see them having car control. Somebody drove through a mall because they were drunk. You don't see them trying to take cars away from all people. You have these trains and plane accidents all the time. You don't see them taking away trains and planes.
Don't get me wrong.
It's a mechanical object.
I am a true blue Democrat, and I believe in gun control. I believe guns are very unsafe. In a civilized society, people carrying deadly weapons should not be permitted. But in order to prevent corruption and dictatorship and everything that comes with it, we as American citizens with the Second Amendment are protected with guns. So I am really
I'm of the belief, just like with these foreign wars, give them all guns. Eventually the killing will stop.
But you give them all guns, and how many innocents die first? It's the innocents that are.
Well, with education, you educate them. You don't try to govern them. You don't keep your people in there. You don't try to make them or force them. You educate them, and then you leave, and then you let them walk or sink.
Okay, there is a mind and gender gap present in almost federal statewide races over the last 2 decades, and this is how it goes. The youth vote for the Democrats. The elderly vote for the Republicans. Women vote for the Democrats, and men vote for the Republicans. So the elderly and the men vote Republican, and the youth and women vote for the Democrats. That has been, and it's a primary mind and gender gap differential of what is happening in our national politics. And that, in 2014, is going to continue and get even stronger as we go through 2015, especially in the presidential election in 2016. As I talked about the Tea Party hurting the Republicans prior, because of what happens in this off-year election, Democrats are going to begin to split over several of the Obama policies. We are really, in this country, seeing the beginning of a 4-party system. The Republicans and the very conservative Tea Party and the Democrats and the very liberal, and what they're going to call themselves are the Patriots.
Where do the independents come in?
Well, right now, Tea Parties are considering themselves a little bit independent, and the Patriots are considering themselves independent of the 2-party system, but we really are going to begin to see a shift. Hillary will win the 2016 election and will only be a 1-term president because her vice president will challenge her in a primary and win. The VP is a Hispanic Asian male who considers himself a patriot, a very liberal Democrat. He was chosen to unite the Democratic Party because Hillary is a true blue Democrat, a little conservative, a little liberal. She's not a diehard liberal, but she chose this patriot to be her running mate. And instead of uniting the party, it really is going to divide the party even further. He will not win in the 2020 election. A Cuban-American Tea Party conservative will win. He will immediately roll back many of the Democratic social programs. So, I really hope that does not happen. The split in the Democratic Party, but that's my last prediction for 2014 at this point. Our next episode is going to be actually reviewing our 2013 predictions and see how good we
All
were.
our hits and misses.
Yes, our report card. Hey, we're not perfect. Nobody is. No one gets it right every single time.
No one gets it wrong every single time.
Not even a brain surgeon gets it 100% of the time. So why are psychics held to a higher standard?
We're still humans, we're not gods.
I'm going to admit when I was wrong, and I'm definitely going to beat my chest and pat myself on the back when I'm right. Until next time, this has been Chuck
And Jen.
We're the Psychic Couple, and this has been another episode of Spiritual and Paranormal Experiences. Stay tuned for our next episode, 2013 Psychic Predictions Report Card.
TTFN!
Yeah, the Psychic Couple is going to be actually grading themselves, and I'm telling you, we're going to be brutally honest. We're going to let you know when we were wrong. We're going to let you know when we were right. God
Or
bless.
when he bombed.
I will definitely point out when Jennifer had said something and she was wrong. Till next time.